game on Saturday. How big of a win is that to beat an in-state rival in the fashion that you did?
Well, it was huge, for us. I mean, just individually, to be able to win a close game like that, a game we had to grind it out. It wasn't a pretty game. Both teams were playing really hard, but it wasn't a pretty game. It was one of those defensive battles and, a play here, a play there. I thought we did a really good job down the stretch. To be able to get a stop on the last possession was huge. And, just for us to win games in February and late season and, continue to push forward. I mean, to have 17 wins at this time of the year is something we're really proud of. And, we have a handful left that we'd like to add to that total. So it was, and to take care of your home court too. I mean, that's a big deal. We weren't happy with the way the Ohio State game went midweek. So to be able to come home and win on your home floor was something that our guys took very seriously.
You talk about winning at home, but on the road, last time that we were here, you guys have been only winning on the road. Now you kind of struggled. How important is it to at least show up for this game?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we played really well at Ohio State. Not so much Indiana and Iowa, the two games before that. But I thought at Ohio State we were ready to play. We had a great pace to the game. We were confident. We just lost our composure late, and which is big. You can't do that. You got to play a full 40 minutes. But going into this game, I mean, it's going to be a tough environment. They have a great home court, very physical team. We have to come out and play to our strengths, and hopefully not allow their crowd to get going, so that it leads to big spurts. And the game gets away from you. So it's going to be important for our guys to be ready to go at the start.
From a size standpoint, is there anything that you're going to look to do differently against Purdue's big home court?
Well, I mean, with those three guys, I mean, there's no team really like them. Swanigan, Haas, and Hammonds are huge, and they're a power team. They're an inside-out team. You don't see that as much anymore in college or pro. A team that just is a smash-mouth basketball team. So, for us, it's going to be important. You can't allow deep post paint touches. I mean, if those guys are allowed to catch the ball with 2 feet in the paint, they're gonna foul a bunch of guys out, and we're gonna be in big trouble. We have to try to do our work early, try to do a good job on the perimeter guys where they can't just fire the ball down there, and then be ready to give help in different areas and lock in our game plan and try to, at the end of the day, when you have a team like that, you got to try to pick your poison on what you're willing to give up. And so we'll work through that. We've watched some film on them and started our process, and we'll do more today, and hopefully by tomorrow night we'll be ready to go.
What does this mean from the standpoint of it's another great chance for, I don't want to call it a signature win, but a big time win in conference on the road. With only 5 games left, how much does a game like this, what kind of opportunity is it?
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and we've talked about that. We thought we had a big one at Maryland. That was a great opportunity. We let slip away. We had another one at Ohio State last week that we could have got, and we weren't able to get that one. And so again, there's only 5 games left. Couple 3 on the road, 2 at home. And when you have a chance to play a top 25 team on their home floor, it's a great opportunity. And we know they're going to be really ready to play. They're coming off a loss against Michigan, and they're really well coached and hard-nosed. And I know we're going to see them at their best, so it'll be a great test to see where we're at as a team.
Just with your strength and the ability to shoot the 3 and their size, as you mentioned, inside, does that help or hurt? Does that allow them to come out and play you? Or
well, I think it's probably going to be to see what wins out. I mean, for us, we're certainly, if it's a smash mouth type of game, we're not gonna win that battle with them. We need it to be more of an open court game, spacing, be able to get into gaps, get open shots, hopefully get their big guys away from the basket a little bit. They're so big and they protect the basket so well with shot blocking and altering shots that, hopefully we can run our offense and cut and move and get their big guys where they can't just stay in the paint and be that presence. And because if we're not allowed to do that, it's going to be difficult for us to score.
Any chance we see you just moving around the big men, using 2 at a time?
Yeah, I mean, we've done that a little bit, against bigger teams. So we used it against Maryland a little bit, and it's something that we've done in practice. So we'll see how the game's going, and certainly if it's really getting physical and we need to go to a bigger lineup, I'm confident that Derek can play with one of the 2 bigs. Probably wouldn't see Ola and Joey together. We haven't done much of that, but Derek has played with both of those other guys, and there's been some positives to it. So there's a chance we could see that lineup for a little bit.
You've been working with Derek to just keep him out of foul trouble.
Yeah, you know, he got in a little bit of foul trouble, and also just with our two freshmen, I feel like they're just getting a little bit worn down. You know, it's we saw it with McIntosh last year. You know, about this time last year, just kind of sensed he was getting a little worn down, and there's been a lot on Aaron and Derek's plate, you know, as freshman players, and you know, this is harder than anything they've ever done playing at this level. You know, having to grind through the Big Ten, and we need to get both of those guys. We have this game tomorrow, and then I'm excited to be able to have 8 days, you know, without a game after that. Hopefully we can play really well tomorrow and see what happens, and then we get a week to kind of get our legs back. And I think hopefully with those two kids, it'll do a lot of wonders as we head into the stretch run.
You mentioned 17-9, 5 games left. A lot of hope and expectations at the beginning of the year. Do you like where you're at now with the games you have left?
Yeah, I mean, look, you can always look back and say, man, I wish we could have done that one over. But we also pulled out some games that maybe we shouldn't have won early in the year. So, you know, again, 17 wins. I mean, none of my teams since I've been here have been 17-9 at this point of the season. Certainly, we'd love to have more at this time, but we feel like we're playing meaningful games right now. You know, when we came into this season, our goal was in February and early March to play games that mattered, and we still are. You know, we're not just playing out the string; we're playing for a lot, and we have a chance to be the winningest team in school history. We have postseason opportunities, so there's a lot for us left to play for, and I know the guys are excited about that.
If there's one thing that you'd like to see improve in these last 5 games heading into the Big Ten tournament, what do you think it would be?
Well, I just think to continue to close, there's going to be close games. So to close games out, you know, I mean, that was the one thing we were most disappointed in the Ohio State loss. We didn't play the last 4 minutes very well. Now, I thought we did a lot of good things against Illinois, but even thought offensively we could have done some better things there down the stretch. And when you get this time of year, man, a possession here, a possession there, I think the way we close a game, having the fight, having the will to make the plays necessary to win is going to be huge for this team.
You got to do to keep them off the boards, especially being in a zone where you don't
Yeah,
box them
pray. I mean, those guys are huge, but you got to try to get your bodies in front of them. You can't just jump. You got to actually box out. In many instances, you got to box out with more than one guy. And you know, hopefully, you know, even though we're playing zone, there's a lot of matchup principles in it. So a lot of times they are matched up with a guy, and you got to be able to try to crack, especially on the weak side. That's where at times, you know, Morgan got a couple on us the other night where our big guys helping at the basket, and then our guards and wings are on the backside trying to block out bigger guys. And we have to do a great job tomorrow, because if you don't block them out or you don't put a body, they're going to feast on those offensive rebound opportunities.
Specifically from Derek, what have you seen over time in that matchup? He's getting like situations, but he's always communicating.
He's talking well. I mean, he's got himself in foul trouble the last couple games. I think he's got to be a little bit more proactive versus reactive. You know, that's with bigger guys sometimes. If you don't do your work early defensively, you get caught in arm wrestling matches, and the defense is always going to get fouls in those situations. He got a couple moving screens in the last game, so all of a sudden it's hard to get a rhythm because he had 3 early fouls, and then, you know, he didn't get a great rhythm in the last game. But I mean, all these are learning experiences for him. Watching film, experience it on the floor, and it's part of his growth, part of his process. And I feel like Alex is playing much better now, so that's going to help him too. You know, to be able to have that veteran presence, Alex, to help him along, and you know, he can complement him. And we're going to need Joey, you know, especially in a game like tomorrow when, you know, you expect there to be a lot of fouls, a lot of physicality. We're going to need all 3 of our big guys to be ready to go.